Hey everyone, welcome to the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie, a book-loving, notebook-hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of books and notebooks as tools for wellness. Reading and writing can help us feel better and make life better too, and I'll show you how I do it. You'll find episodes exploring the research behind reading and writing for wellness, practical strategies to embrace your own restorative reading and writing, and you'll meet authors and special guests who help us take inspired actions in our own daily practices too. So grab a notebook and your TBR list and let's dive into today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness. I'm Stephanie Affinito, and I'm here with another episode on how reading and writing can make life better and help us feel better too. Now, last week, I shared that there are two things that I do every year during what I now call the Hush Week, that liminal space between Christmas and New Year's that feels like a bit of a gap, a bit of a slow-moving week that just doesn't happen any other time of the year. The first thing that I do is create my yearly notebook stack. And the second thing I do is create my very first book apothecary around my very first one-word theme of the year. Now, last week, I recorded an episode all about my 2026 notebook stacks, what the notebooks were, what they looked like, how big they were, what purpose they served, and how you might create your own notebook stack for the coming year as well. As promised, today we are talking about creating a book apothecary for the year. So everybody else might be doing some traditional resolutions and creating big plans and maps and goals and all of the things. But you and I, we're creating notebook stacks and book stacks. I mean, what better way to start the year? Now, as part of creating that book apothecary, we're going to talk about theming our reading life. So in order to create a book apothecary that helps you become the person you want to be in the coming year, we have to talk about choosing books intentionally around particular themes. Now, how and why? Well, I want to just front load this episode with a bit of science so that you understand the science-based principles behind doing this kind of work. And yes, work is in air quotes because this is fun work. Now, I think the rationale behind creating a book apothecary can be explained with one of my favorite quotes by Jim Rohn, or at least Jim Rohn was who I heard it from because I think this quote is thrown around quite a bit. And here it is. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? I know that is likely not a new quote for you. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Now, why? Why is that true? Well, it's true because of these amazing little things in our brains called mirror neurons. Essentially, mirror neurons are the neurons that fire in our brains when we witness something happen to someone else. So maybe you've ever been in a situation where you are watching a sad movie or a very scary movie, and you feel that sadness and that scariness in your own heart, in your own mind, in your own body. That is evidence of mirror neurons at work. Mirror neurons fire in our body to a lesser extent, yes, the same way they might fire in someone else's who is actually having the experience happen to them. So just by witnessing something, we can fire certain neurons in our bodies and in our brains. And we know from science that when we think a feeling in our brain, and yes, even a feeling brought on by a mirror neuron, it only takes 30 to 60 seconds of that feeling in order to release a chemical in our brain. Now, if that feeling is a good, happy feeling, we're releasing dopamine and serotonin. If that feeling is a scary or depressed or sad or anxious feeling, then we are releasing cortisol. So based on how our mirror neurons fire, we can elicit certain feelings, and those feelings can elicit certain chemicals. And when those certain chemicals are coursing through our body, they determine what kind of action we take in our life. If there's constant cortisol going on, then we're not feeling so great. We're not taking nice, inspired action to make life better. We're just sitting around feeling bad. Right? But if there are different chemicals coursing through our body, we are more apt and more able to take positive action in our lives and make some good changes. So that science is so important because the media we surround ourselves with matters too. Not just the five people, but perhaps the five movies we watch, the five podcasts we listen to, the five books we read, the five kind of notebooks that take up our time. This work matters. Okay, so that just sets the stage for why an intentional reading life is an important one. But I do have a couple of other reasons on why we should create a book apothecary and why we should theme our reading life. And the first reason is this: you already are, you just don't know it, right? So if you like manifesting and the wooey world, right, and you say, I want to manifest something in my life, everybody in the field will turn to you and say, well, guess what? You already are. We are manifesting 24 hours a day. It's just if we're manifesting what we want. That is the question. You are already theming your reading life in ways that you might not even know, right? Maybe you're theming it around stress because you feel like you have to read that newest book and you have to read the book that Reese says and you have to finish your book club book, right? Or maybe you're theming it around a genre that you don't even realize you continually go to because that's your go-to genre. Chances are you are already theming your reading life in unconscious ways. And so it's just taking a more conscious look at the books we're choosing and why. Now, theming your reading like this also reduces decision fatigue. If you're a reader, you know that feeling that, oh gosh, what should I read next? That space between the last book and the next book, looking at your bookshelf, looking at your digital TBR, looking at your holds list, whatever it is, and thinking, which one do I read? Which one do I want? How do I feel? Which one should I choose? Sometimes that can stall our reading lives. It can make us feel fragmented and disconnected, and it could just make us feel less positive about that reading life. But theming your reading life and knowing I'm going to choose a book around this, it narrows those choices. It gives us permission to just stay in our lane, so to speak, in what we've decided for ourselves in this particular season, and can actually bring us some reading relief because we do not have to face that decision fatigue. Now, theming your reading life also ensures that you're building a restorative reading life that feels good instead of perhaps a performative reading life that looks good on the outside on Goodreads or Storygraph or whatever pictures you take of your reading on social media, right? You're reading to feel good. You're reading to change your life. You're not reading to finish a book and to log it and to post it. You're reading for internal reasons that make your reading life feel really, really good. And yes, really, really productive in a way that makes your life feel more productive. And then finally, theming your TBR stack, it just helps honor the season you're in. Yes, it could be the actual calendar season of reading. At the recording of this podcast, we are in winter, and winter does have a certain feel to our reading life. I love winterizing my reading life, and perhaps that could be an upcoming episode. But you might also be in a season of parenting, right? In a season of health, in a season of life. And theming your TBR around that season helps you lean into it and make it the best it can be. So I hope I've convinced you a little bit on why theming our reading life is a positive, I would say essential thing to do if you really want to become a better version of you in 2026. Now that we've gotten that science behind us, and yes, I've convinced you to theme your TBR and to create a book apothecary around whatever that theme is, let's actually talk about the themes. How could you theme your reading life? Well, you could theme your reading life around a question that you have, right? A question might be, how can I bring more joy into my life in 2026? A theme could be around a need that you have. You have a need and a wish to get healthier in 2026. And so your need is to learn about good nutrition and sound exercise advice. Or maybe, like me, you have a quality that you want to cultivate, a one-word theme that you want to live into. And so your reading theme is going to be sparked by that one word. Maybe that word is rest, nourish, courage, listen, begin. I love theming my book stacks around a one-word theme because it's a beautiful reminder and an easy reminder to surround yourself with on how you want life to feel and how your book stack can help you do that. Now, that's what a reading theme is. I think it's important to also state what a reading theme is not. Okay. It is not restricting yourself to a certain genre or a certain kind of book. A reading theme is not a productivity goal. It is not how many books you are going to read or how many squares you can fill off on a bingo board. It is not a challenge to read a certain amount of books with a certain amount of words or a book with a certain color on the cover. That is not what a reading theme is about. A reading theme is something that you have intentionally chosen for reasons only you understand and only you have to understand. You choose the theme based on a couple of things. Now, my favorite way to start a theme that then translate to my TBR stack is by relying on my be, feel, do framework that I talked about last week. For me, it's just the simplest way to get to the heart of what matters. In this season of the calendar and in this season of life, who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? And what do I want to do? Almost every journaling prompt that I have ever encountered about setting New Year's resolutions, reflecting on one year, moving into the next, deciding on what matters most. Every single question really can be boiled down to those three very simple things. Simple, yet complex and important. Who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? And what do I want to do? Just sit for a couple of minutes and think about those questions. Or if you're like me, get out your journal, get out your notebook, jot a few things down, start sketching, do whatever feels good to you to help you think through what the answers to those three questions might be. And from there, you choose your theme. Okay. You choose your word, you choose your phrase, you choose your question. Whatever way you want to theme your reading life should naturally come from a couple of minutes of reflection around that be, feel, do framework. Now, for me, in January of 2026, my one word theme that I have chosen is ease. Ease. I want to feel ease in my body. I want to feel good. I want to move well. I want to feel ease in my body. I also want ease in my mind. I want to stop overthinking, stop ruminating, stop worrying. I want ease in my work. I want to have clear routines and systems that make life as easy yet as productive it could be. And of course, I want ease in my spirit. I want lightness. I want more joy. I want more laughter. I want more peace. And in thinking of that, the one word that continually sprang to mind was ease, right? So that is my one word theme. And by the way, if you want to see the really cool shelf, the really cool bookshelf, the really wonderfully sparkly book apothecary that I've created, head to the show notes. This year, for the first time in the years that I have done this practice, I have gone beyond just setting my books up on a stack on my desk or my kitchen counter. This year I splurged. I went to Michael's and I got one of those really cool new bookshelves that everyone is talking about. And I actually made a bookshelf with my TBR stack that embraces that one word theme of ease. I added a little sign that talked about what my one word was. There's a candle, there's a homemade aromatherapy roller that I now made. There's a little notebook, there's a really cool writing utensil. There might even be some fairy lights. I'm so excited about really leaning into this practice even more and making it a physical reminder that this is the person I want to be. So if you want to see it, head to the show notes for the picture, but definitely head to my Substack. It's substack.alitlife.com, or just search for me there. You will not only see my book apothecary, but you'll also see my bibliotherapy book calendar, because I made my apothecary first, but then I made you a book calendar with 31 different books that could help you embrace that one word theme of ease as well. And so if ease feels like something that you want more of in your life, I would love for you to join me there. Now, that was my one word theme and how I'm pulling it together in a book apothecary. But once you have your one word theme or your concept, your phrase, your question, whatever it is you are using to label your theme, it's time to choose your books. Right? And I recommend choosing a book stack of 3 to 5 books. 3 books that are considered anchor books. One book that will help you be the kind of person you want to be and embrace that identity. One book that will help you really feel the way you want to feel, and one book that will help you do what you want to do. So you might have one fiction book or one memoir to really help you embrace a new identity. I recommend a book of poetry or an essay collection or even a day book that could help you feel the feeling you want to feel and therefore the chemicals you are releasing in your body on a daily basis. And then I recommend a book that is more nonfiction or expository to help you do what you want to do. Now, those are not hard and fast categories. The lines blur beautifully. But if you could have one book for each of those categories and then have 2 little extras that either add to those categories or overlap them or just supplement the stack in some way, that seems to be the magic number for me. Now, once you have your stack of books and you have your stack of genres, you feel really good about it when you look at it, it's time to read, right? And you don't have to read these books in a particular way. You don't have to stress out over them of, oh my gosh, I have to make sure I get the theme out of this book. I have to make sure this book changes my life and I prime my mirror neurons. No, it will all happen naturally if you do just one thing, and that's read with an open mind and heart. Just read with the expectation that these books can literally change the way your brain thinks, the way your brain releases chemicals, and the way you show up in your life just by this wonderful stack of books. So just read with an open mind and an open heart. Pay attention to what you're thinking and feeling and the nudges that you're getting. Perhaps you write them down, perhaps you don't. That's okay too. But just allow the books to kind of wash over you and decide how it's going to help you live in to this version of you in 2026. Now, here's the best part. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot get this book apothecary wrong. Okay, you just can't. I truly feel that every book arrives in front of you for a reason, right? And whether that reason is to read the first 3 pages and decide that this isn't actually for me, that's a form of clarity too. So I don't want you to feel like you have to stay married to this book apothecary. Okay, you might get into this and realize that's actually not the book I need right now, and I'm going to remove it. Or that's not the book I need right now, but I found a different one that I think is, and so I'm going to change it. You can DNF a book anytime you'd like once you realize it's not cultivating the feeling you wanted to feel. The mirror neurons that seem to be firing just don't feel good. And therefore, by the way, you should DNF because you don't want to be firing mirror neurons and launching chemicals through your body that don't feel good. So DNF it or NRN it. Not right now. Switch it out. Change it. Maybe as you go, you realize that the word that you thought you were going to theme your reading life around isn't quite it. It needs a little refinement. It needs a little change. That's great. Guess what that means? It means your book apothecary is working. It's working because you're thinking and feeling and doing and growing and changing. And your TBR stack is responding to you instead of the other way around. Okay, that's where the magic starts to happen. Okay, so we've gone through a lot today. We've talked about theming your reading life and building a book apothecary. We've talked about the science behind it, the reasons you'll want to do it, how to choose your theme, an example of what it might be, how to choose books that relate to that theme, and the reminder that you can't get it wrong. So now it is your turn to go create one. I invite you to find a couple of minutes to yourself with your favorite beverage and your notebook. Jot down a couple of things that come to mind when you think of who you want to be, how you want to feel, and what you want to do. And then spend some time browsing the library, your favorite bookstore, or just head online and see what titles you might add to your stack in order to embrace those things. 3 to 5 books is all you need. You can't get it wrong, so you can always change them later. And declare this the year that you'll read with that open mind and heart and pay all sorts of attention to all of the nudges and the possibilities that come your way when you theme your reading life like this. I can't wait to hear more about your stacks, and I do hope you'll share them with me. Find me on social media, send me a direct message, snap a picture of your book apothecary, and let me know what you've created. And of course, head to Substack, find mine, and join the very best community of bookish people who are theming their life all of the time and really harnessing the power of reading to make life better. I would love to see you there, but regardless, I do hope you'll consider theming your reading life and creating a stack that's going to help you move into the coming year exactly how you want to. Thanks for listening, everyone, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Get Literate Substack community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and much more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content, too. You can learn more at getliterate.co. But there's one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish and no bookish community, too. Thanks for listening, everyone.